people are actually able to communicate better, with then moving forward with co-parenting actually sets the kids up for success as well.
Right. So you're focusing not just on the couple, it's about the family and the whole, I guess, everybody involved in the situation. Is that not correct?
Yeah, and so at Carter's Counseling, we really try to have a holistic approach where it's a one-stop shop. So everybody can come and get support. So whether the kids need counseling, we have child and youth counselors, the adults, and then myself and Cassandra do co-parenting, and we call kind of after separation, to continue to keep them having like a positive environment for the kids to be able to thrive.
Right. That would make a huge difference from what I see out there in the community as well too. So welcome to another episode of Beyond the Keys. Today we have Katherine Carter with Carter Counseling Services. I know a lot of people, when they're looking at the separation process, they're thinking about courtrooms, the conflict between that, and Katherine Carter is going to tell us a little bit today about how there's another option for us. Can you give us a little intro into yourself, Carter's Counseling, and how you're servicing Saskatoon in this way?
Yeah, so Carter's Counseling Services actually started as a counseling office. We've seen that in Martensville and Mormon. We didn't want people to have to travel to the city. So this way they could access mental health support in their homes. And then just working with families and seeing what they were having to go through within separation, I decided I wanted to try to do mediation more from a therapeutic lens. Okay. So I started kind of working, getting my mediation training. I am a registered social worker. And so when people come into the room within mediation at Carter's, we're more of like, let's have some space, let's feel seen, heard, and validated, just to be able to really have the process run smoothly so we don't have high court costs.
Okay. That sounds good. Well, that's one of the things. I was actually doing some research on the topic, and it's kind of looking like people that are doing mediation are coming to an agreement in 2 to 6 months, and when you're going through the courts, you might be looking at 12 to 24 months, and obviously there's a cost with that as well, right? So how are you finding that the short timelines are benefiting families, and what makes this approach so effective?
Yeah, so we're finding that then they are in control to make the decisions rather than the judges and the courts making the decisions. And then, yeah, sometimes it's a long time to get in. Like you could wait sometimes 6 months to a year for someone to even make a decision when they really don't know the best interest of the children.
Right.
So we're finding it's beneficial. It's cost effective. People are actually able to communicate better. With then moving forward with co-parenting actually sets the kids up for success as well.
Right. So you're focusing not just on the couple, it's about the family and the whole, I guess, everybody involved in the situation. Is that not correct?
Yeah, and so at Carter's Counseling, we really try to have a holistic approach where it's a one-stop shop. So everybody can come and get support. So whether the kids need counseling, we have child and youth counselors, the adults, and then myself and Cassandra do co-parenting, and we call kind of after separation, to continue to keep them having like a positive environment for the kids to be able to thrive.
Right, right. That would make a huge difference from what I see out there in the community as well too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we were talking a little bit about the show, and you mentioned kind of working with professionals and having that, I guess a team behind you. Can you walk us through a typical scenario where that team approach is going to be most effective for these families?
Yeah, and so I love doing it more from a collaborative approach. There is a collaborative law where everybody is involved, but in mediation we also can have everybody involved. So one thing we find is like when we have a really good realtor, even that knows the area, knows how fast the home can sell, and can communicate with both sides. Sometimes when it's high conflict, we just need someone who can communicate with both sides so they're not getting information in secondhand. And so that's been like really beneficial working that way, as well as then the lawyers. I can't give legal or financial advice. So if the lawyers can be in the room, they can support them rather than waiting long term to make the decisions. And then financial is the same. And even if we go back to like having a realtor in the room, we really like that because they will tell you what the house is for sale. We have people that come in and one thinks the house is $600,000 and the other one thinks it's $200,000 because they don't want to give the other person equity. And so oftentimes when we can have the professionals telling us what the rules, the regulations are, it does make the process beneficial.
Right. And they're hearing the same things. There's the same thing from one professional rather than hearing two different sides and trying to bring two different groups together.
Yes.
On it, correct? Yeah.
Yes. So then it's like they're giving the information and it's just one person telling them, and then that's the information that we get to use. So we're all on the same page.
Right. Just one cook in the kitchen in that regard. Yeah,
Yes.
That makes a big difference. Okay, so what, obviously this is around families, and what are some of the early warning signs that families might need additional support than beyond basic mediation? Like you're saying, the follow-up, those kind of things. What are those kind of factors that you're looking for?
Yeah, so we're wanting people to be able to communicate openly, listen to understand, not to respond. So, after even once the house is sold, we've gotten our money, things are closed, they're still a grieving process. They still have to grieve the life they thought they were going to have. And so oftentimes the things we look for is, okay, are we going to agree on the same sports? Do we need help to figure out what is the actual best interest? Lots of people throw around like the best interest of the child, which can be very gray. So we really look for signs of like, can we co-parent? Can we listen to each other? Do we need maybe support navigating, or even just people come back yearly just to even redo like their child maintenance, which is the child support,
Right.
Going over Section 7, where the kid's going to live. Sometimes they get older and they want to be more with one parent than the other.
Right.
So just being able to have those conversations.
I've heard a little bit about kids staying in the primary home a little bit more. Is that a little bit more common than what we've seen in the past?
Yeah, like I think it really depends financially, right? And so now, and I can let you really go about how the housing market is, but things are more expensive, so it might be beneficial to stay in the family home if they bought it for $200 rather than trying to find something for $400. So
Right.
It can be good for the kids, less transition, they know the environment. So yeah, it just kind of really depends on everyone's situation.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It was just something that I heard in the last, couple days, and I was thinking that stat was kind of shocking to me, right? So, so when you're looking at what people could take away from this, what would be kind of the advice that you would give to somebody? Like, when do you start the process? Like, obviously, you're working with different professionals. I'm sure that a lot of times they maybe talk to a lawyer or realtor right off the bat, and we have those differences of opinions. When do you come in, and when is the best time for you to come in and to start that mediation process?
So we tell people right away,
Right.
like right away, get a realtor to appraise the house, get a lawyer, get financial advice. Because some people, they might be able to leave and they're able to co-parent, but sometimes then things change. And if you don't have things in writing, then it doesn't exist. And so we always say, they might say, well, we're going to sell the house and they're going to give me 50%. The house sells. And because the mortgage is only in one person's name, only that person's going to get the money, right?
Right.
So we always say, like, come in, get a written agreement, get it signed, make sure it's legal binding. So right in the beginning, even if things are good, you should still
Right.
come to mediation.
So that's the first step.
Yeah.
Really, instead of going through all the others first and then coming back and try to mediate later on.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Now, do you have any other advice that you'd give, different consumers out there that it would be kind of their, I guess, the overall picture is that you'd be kind of looking for there?
Yeah, I think honestly, like my biggest advice to the clients is to come, be open-minded, like think long-term, like what's best for the children. But then for all of the professionals is to understand that we do all have different opinions and
Right.
beliefs of what is best interest of the child, right? What we feel, and we all have our own expertise, right? So
Right.
if we kind of stay in our own lanes, we network, we collaborate, we kind of stick together and work for them, then it kind of works out well than us all trying to work against each other.
Right. Right, that makes sense. Get that team working all in the same realm, and then I think that does give people the best outlook as well too. What is your idea between like the high conflict situations and then maybe things where it's just people are having a hard time communicating back and forth? What's the is there a different process that you'd go in those situations? I know from a realtor's perspective, sometimes I'm having two people in the room at one time when they're just having a tough time communicating, and in certain circumstances I'm separating them both and saying I'm going to have this conversation directly with you and I'm going to give you the same information on the other side. Is it something similar to what you do on that side as well?
Yeah, so high conflict can be gray. Like when I look at high conflict from like a social work point of view or a mediator point of view, it's really like, has there been physical abuse, financial abuse, right? Is there charges? What does that look like? A lot of people will come in and say, oh, it's high conflict, but they just can't communicate is actually what it is, right? So there's barriers, there's breakdown in trust, and so no one's actually listening to understand. So we do try to get them in the room, whether with lawyers, mediators, support people. It makes the process better if we can all kind of be in the same space. But if there is something where there's like a restraining order or there's been some kind of abuse, we will have them in separate rooms, or we can do it virtually. So we do kind of look at like what is the best for the client and what's going to get this process going. But oftentimes lots of people think they're in high conflict, but it's just that they're having difficulties communicating.
That's good. That's a great point to make, because I do hear that high conflict quite a bit, right? And, you know, communication goes a long way.
Yes.
That's for sure. So is there any services that we haven't kind of mentioned that you guys provide at Carter Counseling at this point?
So we do lunch and learns, so we can go into businesses and actually teach people how to communicate, how to provide feedback or take critical feedback. We do child counseling, mediation, individual counseling. So we are kind of a one-stop shop, and that was kind of the vision, was that people could come in, get all services in one place, and then they know the environment. The kids can kind of come in and feel comfortable, the parents can, and then people can continue to come back. And we love working with other professionals. So like realtors, lawyers, financial advisors. I feel like it creates a good understanding for other people, because they come and they have no idea what realtor to use, or they have no idea what financial advisor. So a lot of it is we just try to be in the community, give back to the community, but also have like a strong team outside of Carter's as well.
Okay, cool. So I'm sure lots of people have enjoyed everything that you have to say and maybe need to get in contact with you. How would they go about doing that? Obviously, we'll put your details below and that, but is it just the website? Is it phoning you first? What would be the best way to kind of start from your perspective?
Yeah, so they can go on the website. People can book right online. They can read about all the therapists that are on there. They can call to book an appointment. We have Facebook and Instagram. So yeah,
so you're covered in all aspects then.
Yes.
Great. Well, I want to thank you for coming on today. I think that gives us a good shine, a good light on the situation and how people can navigate it a little bit stronger and maybe not have the real costs of the legal side and things, and also have a better transfer in kind of life as well too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thanks again for coming on here, Catherine. We will put the deets down, and thanks again for joining us for this episode.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Question before you close. Hi, Catherine.
Hi.
I wanted just to ask you, talking about the high conflict situations, if you could give our audience like one tip. So if someone's going through that they feel like they're in high conflict, but maybe they are or they aren't. What would be one thing you would say to someone who's, you know, in that situation with their partner at the moment, that they should first think about doing if they're really having a difficult situation and not able to communicate with each other?
Yeah, so a few things we say is like each person gets their own intake. So you can come, and then that's where they have a chance to kind of say their side of it, because two realities can exist at the same time. So the first thing I'd say is like, you can come on your own, you can come with a support person, like we can navigate kind of what you're feeling. But then if there is a lot of things going on for that person, like we do usually say, why don't you go to counseling, try to kind of go through some of the emotions and then come back to mediation. If it is a point where they feel like they can't be in the room, then we will separate them. Like we never want someone to come and feel very uncomfortable. And then the other part is like there's an app called our Family Wizard. And so we actually tell couples to use that because it can be used in court. You can communicate in there. I actually can oversee everything. So then I can see how people are communicating, what things are looking like, if they're actually paying like their child maintenance or Section 7 expenses. So I would say just come in, ask for the information, whether you go with me for mediation or a different mediator, like just make sure that you know what the process is and that you feel comfortable with it.
Thanks for the question. Well, thanks again for coming on. It was, we were enlightened with the information that you gave us, and, I'm sure that people will benefit from your services as well.
Yes, thank you so much.
Perfect. Thanks, Catherine.
Thanks.